Hey there. So in this video, I'm going to show you a very scalable way to relate two custom post types. Could be whatever you want, but in this case, it's a law firm website. So I'm going to be relating practice areas to FAQs. I'll explain the whole thing. But the reason you're going to want to pay attention to this is because instead of a traditional way where maybe you would think to create like a taxonomy and then have to manage that and then also manage the relationships between things and have like a centralized way to do all this stuff, you don't need any of that. You just can relate things directly. You can query them directly from that relationship. And the whole thing becomes a lot easier to manage and doesn't break as much when you move forward and you actually add more pieces to the puzzle. And every time I build a website, I like to think, even if it's a small website right now, it could be big one day, or I might work on another project that's really big one day. And I want to make sure that I'm trying to use like the best practices from the data architecture side, because that is my favorite thing about this whole industry. So just sit back and relax, and I will explain everything here. I'm going to go through a couple different examples of ways that you could do it, and then I'm going to show you literally because I have to build it right now. I'll build it right in front of you, and hopefully you get something good out of this. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and let's just dive right into it. Hey, real quick, hope you're enjoying the video. I hate to interrupt, but I have to tell you about our sponsor, NitroPack. If you've been holding off on trying NitroPack, now is the absolute perfect time. They just launched brand new pricing starting at only $7 a month, so their powerful performance optimization is even more accessible than ever. Whether you're running a blog, a growing e-commerce store, or managing multiple sites, NitroPack has a plan for you. And it's not just about price. They've added 7 new optimization features to help your site load lightning fast and pass core web vitals with ease. We're talking things like LCP preload to boost your largest contentful paint score, lazy loading for self-hosted videos, and even animated image optimization so your GIFs won't slow your site down. With NitroPack, you get speed without complexity, no dev team required. Check out the new plans to see how easy it is to turn your slow site into a fast one. And the best part of it all, you can test drive NitroPack for free today via the WordPress plugin repository. And when you're ready to upgrade, just use code MJS at checkout to get yourself 10% off. Now, let's get back to the video. First thing we need to do is give you a little bit of context as to what exactly we're doing, why we're doing it, and just kind of the lay of the land. There will be chapters down below if you want to skip around, but I'm going to give you a little bit of context here, so bear with me. This is learning. I would highly recommend you pay attention, okay? This is a law firm website that I'm doing here currently, and I'm working with a colleague right now on some of the design and development, and we came up against this thing, and we had different ways of tackling this, and I think that I'm going to go ahead and try the way that I would typically do it. But first, I'm going to tell you what a lot of people would do, and it is a fine approach, but I'm going to try to like lay it out for you here. We're not going to look at every single piece of this website, but I do need to give you a little bit of the lay of the land from the data architecture side. This is a law firm website. Their services are kind of like practice areas. Okay, let's just use that word as our practice area, as our synonym for services. If you deal with a typical service-based business, if we come to the practice areas CPT right here, okay, you can see there's something interesting going on that I probably can make a separate video on, but I will gloss over it just for now. There is abuse and neglect as like a main parent custom post type, and then you can see this little line right here. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. You see this little line here? That means that the child abuse and neglect is a child, bad terminology there. It's a child of the parent post type abuse and neglect. You may have seen this in taxonomies before. You may have never used this for posts, okay? It's not really that common, but it could come in handy. And again, I could explain all of this if you have questions down below. I don't want to go super deep into this because this isn't the point of the video, but just take a look at this, okay? Just take like mental note and be like criminal law. Okay, then these are all sub or child posts of that one. The reason is because there's 4 big ones, right? We kind of like go back to the main website here. You see practice areas. There's personal injury, medical malpractice, criminal law, abuse and neglect. Underneath all of those, there's a bunch of child ones. So underneath personal injury, there's truck accidents, motorcycle accidents, pedestrian accidents, all that, right? Those are all posts, okay? You could have done it a different way. You could have done taxonomies, you could have done all this other stuff, but then you don't get a nice slug. Okay, and this website isn't also done yet, but just take a look at what's happening up here, okay? You see it's practice areas, that's the CPT, then you have personal injury, and then you have truck accidents. You see how that all flows really well? You see how you get the whole nice, beautiful breadcrumb situation? You don't have to have the breadcrumb on there, but you get the idea of like, it's very understanding how you're drilling down each time, okay? This is a side note. That's not the main point of what I'm talking about, but it is important because now we introduce FAQs. Okay, so we go over to FAQs. FAQs are simple, right? If you've ever made an FAQ page before, or you've ever created like, an FAQ post type, it's very simple generally. It's like the title is generally the question, and then you come in here and you have an answer, like an answer field, okay, just a text field, and then you put that in there. I'm going to be doing this. I should have said this at the top. I'm going to be doing this. We're in Bricks right now, and we're in JetEngine. Very important to understand this. You can do this with any other a collection of tools there. You can do it with any other page builder plus any other like custom post type tool. If you have a specific situation you'd like to see this, if you're not using these particular tools, leave them in the comments down below and I will do my best to figure it out, because this is, again, my favorite part of this whole thing. But this is what I'm using on this project, so I'm going to show you how to do it. So this is the FAQs, right? Now, what my colleague was thinking about doing was, okay, let's do this. Let's do an FAQ category. Let's create medical malpractice, abuse and neglect, criminal law, general, personal injury, right? So the way to do that, you've created a taxonomy before, okay? Whether you've done it in ACF or you've done it anywhere else, you've created a taxonomy. You've gone to, in this case, like JetEngine, taxonomies. You come in here, you add a new one, you fill out some stuff, bing, bang, boom. Now you have a page that's like this where you can add taxonomies to your actual you can add categories to your taxonomy, in this case, the FAQ, and then you can add FAQ posts and you can categorize them into the given one. Obviously, a very important piece of dynamic data architecture, okay? However, I just want to point something out to you. Anytime that I am like writing the same thing twice, it's not a given, it's not 100% all the time, but anytime that I'm writing down the same thing twice, typing in the same thing twice, immediately you got to have red flags in your head, okay? You don't want to do that, because if you're writing it twice, then there's probably a better way to not repeat yourself and to make things more, again, scalable and just like easier to maintain long term, okay? So that's really important. All right. So keep all that in mind, and let's take a look at how this, one way to do this, right? So you're thinking, okay, yourself, okay, look, okay, Mark, I have all these practice areas, and every single one of those practice areas has a single. Okay, let's revisit that for a second. Every single one of these has a single because we want to have thick, like, content on this website. So every single one of them, right? This is personal injury again, but if we go to truck accidents, obviously there's nothing on here right now, but if we go to that, there's going to be information on there. If we go to motorcycle accidents, there's going to be on there. Put yourself in the seat, from the perspective of a client coming to this website. They might be in a motorcycle accident and they might be looking for information on motorcycle accidents. They're going to see all the information. They're probably going to have FAQs. You probably want to have FAQs specific to motorcycle accidents, okay? I think you're starting to see where I'm going here. There are way too many categories that you would have to create and then manage in that taxonomy for that to be like a viable solution, especially like, let's say the firm expands to like another vertical, another practice area, and then there's a ton more sub areas. Okay. I can't think of another practice area thing off the top of my head, but let's say there was something else. Now you have like 10, 15 more, and you're going to have to keep adding to these categories here. And this is just this was just a test here. These are just those main ones. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you wanted to put FAQs on the truck accidents thing and manage all of that stuff properly on the back end and not have to like physically be typing shit in on the front end, it's not going to work. You basically have to copy every single one of these and then bring them into categories and make a taxonomy. You really don't want to do that, okay? Hopefully this has kind of made sense to this point, okay? Because you can end up doing it this way. So let me illustrate this for you, okay? If you come to personal injury, one of the main parent custom post types here, or custom posts here, you come down and you can see that we have some personal injury FAQs. Well, how did they get there, Mark? Well, that's what you're asking. Well, the answer is that if you come out to the FAQ page here, or the FAQ category, the taxonomy stuff here, then you come down to personal injury and you click over, you see there's 5. Okay, awesome. So these 5 are categorized as personal injury. Those FAQs are categorized as personal injury. Okay, perfectly fine, like to do it this way, right? You come down and this is just the template single for the stuff. There's also some really interesting single stuff going on here because there's technically like 2 templates, but Bricks doesn't let you, by default, doesn't let you conditionally show based off of if parent or if it's a child. So there was some interesting code snippets in the back. If you're interested in that, let me know. But anyway, down here, this is the only thing we're looking at. There's an accordion, there is a query, and the query is posts FAQ, And then specifically down here, it's a taxonomy query. So it's FAQs, and then it's by name, and then you're doing like post terms, post title. So it's kind of like comparing to see like, okay, is this like, look at the name of this thing here, and if it's in the same category as this, then show it. Now you could also do term ID, you could do a bunch of different things, but to me though, this works, but the problem is that I'm gonna have to manage these categories, this taxonomy, and I just don't want to do that because again, if I have to do more stuff later down the line, then it's gonna get messy. So um, hopefully that made sense, and in some cases that is the way to go. But in this case, I want to try this because I've done it before, but I haven't done it in a little bit. So I want to show you guys how to actually go about relating these things, specifically in JetEngine, but you could do it elsewhere, and natively kind of like just like going in and setting up one query for wherever you want, and then it'll just show the related items rather than showing um, like pulling from a taxonomy and doing all that sort of stuff. So that is the plan. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm just going to rip through this. Again, questions in the comments down below. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to JetEngine. I'm going to come to relations. We have none yet. I'm going to say add new, and then I'm going to say you can name this however you want, but I'm going to say you can say practice. I normally say like practice areas to FAQs or FAQs to practice areas. It doesn't matter heavily, but you do have in JetEngine like a parent object and a child object. So in this case, I'm probably going to go practice areas to FAQs. Yeah, I'm going to go practice areas to FAQs. Again, I don't think it really matters that much because you could kind of finagle it either way. But the way that I like to think about it is like, which one are you pulling to? So like, for instance, we're going to be on practice areas. So we kind of want to show like the children of that, in a sense, of that relationship. Like most of the time, maybe we could go somewhere else where like we show the like we have FAQs and then we're pulling which practice area it's related to, but we could still do it. It doesn't matter. That's not like the primary way to do it. So let's just say practice areas to FAQs. Okay. And then what we do down here is we look for practice areas. I just typed that in, but you just drop down and boom. So then FAQs, boom. So practice areas to FAQs. Now here, one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many. Honest to God, most of the time it's many-to-many because you're probably going to have like many practice areas can be related to many FAQs, like meaning like one practice area can have many FAQs and one FAQ can belong to many practice areas. Most of the time, you're probably fine with many to many. Parent relation, there's nothing there because that would be like a relationship that's like above, so to speak, or like preceding those. Not really a big deal. The rest of this stuff you can change, but I never really do just because, it's not really necessary in a lot of cases. You can change the labels. You can add meta fields. Let's not worry about any of that. Let's just keep it simple, okay? What did that do? Well, you're not going to see anything, but now you have a new relation. So if you go over to practice areas, for instance, and you come to any of these now, realize what we're doing. All of this stuff is taken care of with JetEngine inside each one of the posts. So you're not doing anything anywhere else, like in the taxonomy situation. And because of the way that this website is structured, there's, the parent post and the child post. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're all treated the same. They're just kind of, they want, some of them have a parent. But if we come into any of these now and we scroll to the bottom, we can see children FAQs. Now, again, you can change that. I would change that to like related FAQs or something like that. It just does children because the FAQ was the child of that relationship. Doesn't matter. Okay. Get over the words. It's not a big deal. So you come down here and you're like, okay, well, abuse and neglect, that's probably should fix that. I don't know if that's a little escape sequence there. But if we come down here, then we say select an FAQ. Now, all we're doing here is we are in the abuse and neglect thing, and we got to think to ourselves, okay, if we have an FAQ section on this abuse and neglect, what do we want to see? What FAQs do we want to see on here? And all you do is I don't love this UI personally, like this could be a little bit better, but all you have to do is pick some, right? So, and these are all the FAQs. This is populating from your FAQ posts, like all of these. Not this, because this is just the couple of them, but like all of these are populated right here in here. Now, I don't know which ones are right now, but I'm just gonna make some things here. This could be a little smoother. This is a little pain in the ass, but it's not. It's better in the long run. So let's just do this. So how are fees handled for an abuse and neglect cases, and do I need an expert testimonial to prove malpractice? Obviously, those aren't accurate, but those are the two that we're gonna use as an example for this. Okay. So when we go to abuse and neglect now, and we go to our FAQ section, what we're trying to achieve is to get those to show up in an accordion or whatever we want there, right? All right. So if we come back over now to our actual template and we come down here to our FAQs, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate our FAQ section, okay? And then I'm going to come down here so we don't mess with the first one. The first one is the testimonial, or the taxonomy way, and then this is going to be our new way here. So we're going to come down to accordion. I'm going to leave the styling and everything like that the same. We're only really changing the query loop here. So then we come down and we're like, okay, query loop, and then we're going to change this to posts, and it's going to be FAQs. But instead of this, actually, right here, it's going to be okay, important point right here. I had to refresh the builder because we didn't have any relations before. So now what you see is you had post terms, etc. But now you see you have JetEngine relation, practice areas to FAQs. So if we click that, it should literally be a one click, bro. Like, it's actually amazing. So now you have one click. You don't even really need to set up a query loop. We could have went deeper into the JetEngine query builder thing. That's crazy. There's a lot of stuff there. But the way that Bricks has this integration is you literally just click that, and then now it just knows because you're on the single and it's pulling in the FAQs that are related to this particular practice area. So now if we go back to abuse and neglect, because that's the one we were talking about, and we scroll down, we'll see that there's none up here. And the reason there's none up here is because that's the old way. And I don't believe there was any like kind of like set up for that, or like maybe I messed up the thing for that. But the point is that now we have in this abuse and neglect one where we are pulling directly from the related custom post or the related FAQs, they're just in here. So now you don't have to have, this has totally negated the whole taxonomy thing. You do not need it anymore. And you just have this one simple way where at any time, okay, I want to show you the power of this, okay? At any time, you could come in and you could be like, let's say you're, 6 months down the line, et cetera, whatever, okay? And you're like, oh man, you know what? I'd really love to add a new FAQ. And I want to add it to a couple different practice areas. Okay, so you get this question all the time. You're like, how much does this cost or something? Something like that, right? Yeah, something like that. Okay. So how much does this cost? And you're like, okay, well, I don't know, $10. I don't know, whatever. So that's your FAQ. You say publish. Okay. Forget about this over here because we're done with this now, right? So you're like $10. Okay. Well, all I have to do now is when I put in this FAQ, I just have to come down here to my practice area and I just have to literally search. So okay, this is actually for truck accidents. Okay. This is for truck accidents. And this is for, again, I don't love this UI, but it is what it is. And it's for white collar crimes, and it's for, probation. Okay. And then you update. And now, assuming we set all that up properly, I think we technically didn't. Okay. We technically didn't on this website because there's two different singles for the parent ones and the child practice areas. What I can do to prove it to you, however, though, is I can just go like this. I could just use our other ones. I could say personal injury. As long as they're parents, in this case, it would work the same. I could say personal injury, and then I could say medical malpractice. And I can go like this, and then I can press update. And then if I come back out to our main website here, which is wherever, we can go right here. And then if I come down to, remember how we were on personal injury before? And we scroll down to now we were on abuse and neglect before. Now you can kind of see it's like, okay, this is the old approach, that we were managing things through taxonomy. Now down here, I added that, how much does this cost? And it immediately showed up because I made that query very simple where it's just like, it's pulling in the related ones. So that's how much does this cost. If we go over to abuse and neglect here, then you can see it's still just these other two that we had. And if we go to something like medical malpractice and we scroll down, now it's just how much does this cost. So if we added another one and we set it up, then it's all just about the relations. Like, I'm just a relation, I'm just so obsessed with them. And make everything so much easier in so many ways, because now you're just relating those two things and you're going to use them like this anyway. You know what I mean? You're not going to have to create the taxonomies and then manage that separately. And then worst case scenario, if you wanted like a general, because this is an idea that I could see somebody having, if you wanted like a general FAQ, right? Like, what if you say, Mark, hey, dude, like, here's what I want though, Mark. I want to go over to FAQs, and I don't want to see all of these. I kind of just want to see the ones that, you know, I kind of just want to see the ones that are like just generalized. I don't want to see the ones that are related to anything else, or I want to like, do something different where these are all kind of like nested and everything. I'm not going to go super deep into this right now, but as an example, all you have to do is create an FAQ that isn't even related to anything if you didn't want to. Like, you don't have to create a relation. You don't have to say that it's related to something. And then you can just get creative with the way that you query this. Right now, this is just all the FAQs. It's, -1 post per page, so it's all of them. But you don't have to do that. But I mean, you have so many options here again with the way that you can query this data. Like, you can do general stuff. You can do, again, like a nested situation where you have like a bunch of different things going on. I'm not going to get into all that in this video. If you have specific things that you want to see, leave them in the comments down below. I don't want this one to get super long. I just want to illustrate the idea of and the difference between using a taxonomy to show different things and kind of build like a relationship like that, and then how you can use relations to take that a little bit of a step forward, save yourself some time and energy in the long run. But yeah, other than that, I really hope you got something out of this video. I know I kind of sped through that a little bit, so if you have any questions, leave them down below. Anything else you want to see, do not hesitate to ask. And thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.